Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Patrick Dang here, and in this video, we are going to be talking about the best way to do sales prospecting using the most cutting-edge technologies so that you can spend less time doing administrative work and more time talking to the right customer. Now, if you're ready for this video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And I want to give a huge shout out to DNB Hoovers for supporting this channel and making this video possible. Now, the first thing we have to talk about when it comes to sales prospecting is what are the modern challenges when it comes to sales prospecting, right? So whether you are a sales rep or maybe you're a sales manager or maybe you lead a sales team, you would know the most challenging part of sales prospecting is actually finding the right person that actually wants to have a conversation with you, right? So for most people, and especially for me when I first started my career at Oracle and then later at Y Combinator back startup, the most challenging part was that when I wanted to sell my product and service and most people didn't know who I was, I would have to basically make lists of people who I thought might be interested in my product. I would come up with an idea like real estate companies, e-commerce companies, and I would just like create an ideal customer profile, meaning just an idea of like who this customer is. And I would just go on the internet, go on Google and type in like top, real estate companies in California. And I would just like gather this list, put it into an Excel sheet, and then I would have to manually find all their email addresses, and then I would have to send out the emails. So that it's like a lot of steps to do that process. But even when I would create this huge list, I wasn't even sure if these were my ideal customers, right? Because there's no data to tell me like, oh, this person for sure is interested in buying my product and service. How do I know? I have no idea, right? Because I'm literally just going on Google and trying to just piece all the information together. So, if you do that strategy, if you make a big enough list and you reach out to enough people, yes, you will probably find success in finding the right person. But the chances of, someone responding, the chances of them actually taking a meeting with you, and also the chances of them actually closing a deal is actually not that high. And so that's why sales prospecting can be such a very time-consuming effort. But here's the thing, times have changed quite significantly since I first started out in sales, and then now there's a lot of technology and tools to actually make the process a lot faster. And the one I want to specifically talk about in this video is going to be DNB Hoovers Bombora Intent. Now, to give you a simple explanation of how Bombora Intent works, because it's quite a complicated software in a sense, right? Meaning it's really robust, it can do a lot of things, but I'm going to give you the easy version. So you got this software, Bombora Intent, which is on DNB Hoovers, right? It's just like a data software, and it's basically scanning data from like 4,000 different data sources. And a lot of this data sources, like 70% of it is only available on this platform. So other tools don't have it, right? So it scans the entire internet to kind of keep tabs of like which company is searching for what. So for example, if they're like real estate agents in California who are looking for Facebook marketing services, right? It's going to keep tabs on who all these companies are that are looking for specifically, for example, Facebook marketing services, right? And then what will happen is that whenever there's a spike of activity, meaning like, let's say a company, suddenly they're starting to search up Facebook marketing agency stuff like a lot more than they were before, it creates this type of trigger and it lets people know that, hey, this person is very interested in Facebook marketing service right now compared to, last month or the year before, right? And it could be applied to any type of services, whether it's marketing services, whether they're looking to buy a software, whether they're looking to install a CRM into their Salesforce, all type of different data sources that they can collect. And essentially when you're using this kind of software, the data will tell you like, hey, these guys are interested in probably purchasing a product and service, and you should probably reach out to them. And this is a lot more powerful because, in the old days, you would have to like reach out to everyone and you don't know if they're going to be interested in your product and service. But now using this technology, you know that they're a lot more interested in certain type of products and services compared to, a time period before. And that's going to make it so much easier. So when somebody is searching up or Googling HR software, for example, and you get an alert like say, hey, these hospitals in California are all searching for HR software, maybe it's time for you to send them a cold email, right? Your chances of success of them actually responding to you is going to be much more higher than it would be if you're just reaching out to people cold. And it's all about prioritization, right? Like a salesperson's time is probably the most valuable thing they have. So if they're wasting their time on prospects who just aren't even interested in buying their product and service, why even reach out to them, right? Why not just reach out to the people that are actively searching for a solution? And it just so happens that you have the perfect solution and you email them or cold call them or whatever it is at the perfect right time, and that's just going to increase everybody's success. Now, to give you a little demonstration of how this all works, I actually have access to DNB Hoovers, and I'm going to show you how I would go about it if I was looking to use this kind of software to use this type of data to speed up my prospecting process. So when you're using DNB Hoovers, obviously, there are different search filters that you can use to find different companies. So for example, if I wanted to find companies in New York, right? All you got to do is type in New York, right? New York, United States. When you scroll down a little bit, what's going to happen is that there's more filters that can get you even more granular, right? So, not just physical location, but you can go by employee size, whether it's going to be like a single site, domestic, or even at a global presence. And you can also input values of sales in US dollars, right? So basically, if you want to find companies from like 1 to 10 million, right, you can put that in. Or if you want to find companies that have over $1 billion in revenue, you would just put that value in and then search it up, and then you would get a filtered list of all the companies that fit that description. And for most businesses, those are going to be the most important factors, and then you would choose your industry, right? And there's also these identifier numbers that may or may not be useful depending on your prospecting style and exactly what you need in terms of what a company has to qualify for. But where everything becomes much more powerful is when you're using Bombora intent. So let's say I'm selling human resources software, right, to these media companies. So all I would have to do is type in human resource management, and then I'll probably type in human resource technology, human resource benefits, right? Because sometimes when you sell HR software, they gotta have benefits. So that's good. So we have 3 different type of interests that they may have, right? And of course, this software goes very in depth and you can get very granular. But for the purpose of this video, let's go ahead and keep it like simple, right? And so for this particular video, what I want to do is I want to search into a larger organizations, something well known in New York. Let's go ahead and find the New York Times. I go into New York Times. All I would have to do is add them to my list of people that I want to prospect into. And then when it comes to, who exactly should I be reaching to, all I got to do is scroll down. And then from there, what I see is, all the different contacts here. And DNB has a robust contact information, so you don't have to like go around piecing different software and putting it all together. Like you can get their email address here, you can get their phone number here. It just makes it very simple. And actually a really cool feature of this is that you can actually integrate Bombora intent into different software. So whatever, sales software, CRM that you're using, most likely, you're going to be able to integrate Bombora intent. Really, it's just to save you time, find all the contacts, find the right people, and just work much more quickly so that you can spend less time on the administrative work and more time actually selling to your potential customer. And of course, they're going to give you some more interesting data, right? Obviously, there's like all the company information, which may or may not be useful depending on what you're doing. Knowing their sales growth, all in one place. And then spend capacity, I think this one's quite useful because it's like their spend capacity is at a 99, meaning that they're probably growing quite a bit. They're probably hiring a lot of people. If they're hiring more people, you're selling HR software and they have money to spend, kind of makes sense for them to upgrade their HR software and their payroll and however they handle that, right? So your likelihood of success when you reach out to them is much higher than it would be if the score was lower. Also, you see the growth trajectory, meaning that, they're growing as a company, probably increasing revenue, increasing headcount. So usually, the more a company increases, the more budget they have to spend on certain type of software to help manage their people or, whatever it is that you're selling. And I want to iterate. The most important part of this, right? Of course, having all this robust information in one place is a great thing and it saves a lot of time. But the real important part is that you can search for specific companies in a specific area that reaches a certain ideal customer profile, and with high confidence that they are interested in your particular product and service, right? So for the example, using Bombora intent, I said I was looking for people who are interested in HR software, and it gave me a list of companies who are interested in HR software. So when I reach out to them, they'll be like, yeah, that's exactly what we're looking for. How did you know, right? And it's because Bombora intent gathers all these data sources and always keeps track of people to let you know who's hot and who's not. Now, if you are selling a different product, let's say you're selling, a marketing service, for example, or some kind of consulting, you can also type that into Bombora intent to see which companies are actually interested in buying your products and service. That is really the game changer when it comes to saving you a bunch of time. It's not about having information. It's about having the right information at the right time to save time so that you only go after people who have shown some type of interest in your product and service. So at the end of the day, for this kind of software, whether you use Bombora intent or something else, the most important thing to understand is looking at a software and understanding if it makes your life a lot easier if you're a sales rep or you're doing any type of selling, and also does it help you save time so that you can eventually close more deals and increase revenue? Because at the end of the day, that's probably what's most important for most sales teams and individuals. And if you want to learn more about DNB and Bombora intent, make sure to check out the links in the description to see if it's a right fit for you. And so with that said, that's everything that we got to cover for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and I will see you guys in the next one.